Start the meeting. Okay, so welcome everyone to the January 22nd edition of the CHAOSS OSPO Working Group meeting. As always, we are under the CHAOSS Code of Conduct, so keep that in mind and please be kind to each other. We have a couple of things on the agenda. Feel free to add some other items if there's anything else you want to discuss. The two things that we have an update from the CMS OSPO. So Natalia will be showing off some of their new tools, which is should be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll have just a brief conversation about FOSDEM, see who's going to be there, and yeah. So, Natalia, are you ready? Do you want to
Yes,
share
I'm
your
gonna
screen?
take over and share. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, cool. Can you guys see my screen? Oh, I have so
Yeah.
many windows. Cool.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay, so just wanted to share a little dev update that the CMS OSPO was working on over the holidays. So this is a little bit old news, but we haven't had the opportunity to share it with the working group. So this website over here is our OSPO guide. This is kind of like the main hub where we publish guidance on how we do open source in the agency. And these guides are all authored by the CMS Open Source Program Office team. Also, I realized I didn't introduce myself. Hi, everyone. I'm Natalia. I'm a software engineer working in the Open Source Program Office at the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Um, yes, and this is our OSPO guide. So one new thing we shipped that we're super proud of is our new tools page. So our GitHub organization has, I think, about 70 repos. And so we wanted to include a tools page on the OSPO Guide website to highlight kind of our crown jewel tools that other people can have the opportunity to use. And what's cool about this is that this tools page, I'm going to send the link in the chat, is not is
I
actually
got you.
not a manual. Thanks, Remy. This is actually a list that's not manually updated. We actually automated kind of populating this list over here through using our repository metadata. So one of the initiatives that we've been working at the agency is as part of our software inventory efforts, we've been shipping a code.json file to all of our repositories. And in our code.json file is metadata all about the repository. So we have data such as name, description, usage type if it's open source or inner source, repository URL. So kind of information that that describes the repository. And we've and this is part of our efforts to um, implement the Sure IT Act, where one of the requirements is that we have to publish a index with all of the metadata on our repositories. So that's why we have decided to store all of our metadata into this code.json file, which every repository has. And so the way that we automatically populated this page is that we pulled the code.json files across all 70 repositories in our GitHub organization. And then now that we have metadata on all the tools, we filtered the tools by, I believe it was status. So whether the tools are in production or I believe if they have a release. This status field is a field that is on public code YAML. So the options over there is what we used. And we filtered by production. And I believe we also filtered by, where is it? Featured in our tags array. Yeah. And then so it goes through all 70 of our repos, and then it was able to identify tools that fall under that criteria. And these are our list of tools here that we now showcase in our website. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, unless anyone else in the team has anything to add. Okay, cool. That's it for me, Dawn. Thank you.
That's super cool. I really like seeing how your team has automated so many of the things and really utilizing those code, was it JSON files?
Yeah.
I think that's great. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah. And we also, because we're going through this metadata, this effort to inventory the repositories and adding metadata to the repositories, we're exploring ways this year on how we can use the metadata to provide value and I guess storytelling about our repositories. Yeah, so that will be coming up in a future update, work in progress.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, thank you so much
Oh.
for sharing with us. I really appreciate it. Any final questions for the team? Okay, cool. I did want to just have a quick check-in to see who's going to be at FOSDEM. I'll be at FOSDEM.
See you
Anybody?
there.
David will be there. Alan will be there. I saw a note from Ria in the chat that maybe when she's an empty nester, she can go to FOSDEM.
I'm hoping.
Um,
I would love to just be able to have a job that let me go to conferences. That would be fun.
yeah, for sure. It does get a little tiring though, I gotta say, as someone who's yeah, had jobs that were a lot of that. Um, cool. So what are people looking forward to? I mean, on my side, well, obviously CHAOSScon. We have CHAOSScon on Thursday. For those of you who aren't going to be there at the social, I've 3D printed a whole bunch of different chaos things, so we can make earrings, keychains. I'll have to import this to the North America chaos as well, so that we can do the same thing because I feel like the those of you who only go to the North American ones are missing out on the cool stuff.
I love the earring. They're really nice.
Yeah. Well, and these are new ones too. I've got little chaotic earrings now. Oh, it's kind of hard to see.
I have the colorful ones, the other one, the circle ones.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna print some of those too. And now instead of just coming in one size, come in four sizes. So we have big ones, little ones. Should be fun. So other than ChaosCon, obviously, I'm really looking forward to the funding dev room, which is on Saturday. So I'm looking forward to that one because there are loads of good talks in that room, and I think that's going to be really interesting. And then I'm also looking forward to the community dev room because they do a really nice job of getting good talks in that dev room as well. So those are the two things that I'm interested in for FOSDEM. I don't know the others. I don't know, David, if you had anything in particular that you're looking forward to at FOSDEM. Just hanging out with people, that's good too. Hallway track, totally legit.
When I have gone in the past, the legal dev room is one of the most sophisticated and interesting legal community rooms I've ever been to at an open source conference. It is always a banger, so to speak, at FOSDEM. So if people can do that, I would highly recommend it if you're any kind of wonky or nerdy or policy shaped type person. It is a good one.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that dev room as well. I personally tend to avoid things that look like licensing and compliance because that's just not my jam. I'm happy to have other people do that. So I've never been, but it's run by really great people, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. How about you, Alan? What are you interested in at FOSDEM?
I will represent the to-do group at our booth as a to-do ambassador. I will also represent the Apache Natex project at the Apache Foundation booth. And I'm mostly interested in the SBOM track, this event and the hallway track, since it's an awesome event and you can meet so many people if you pre-book your meeting.
Yeah, it's really hard to find people at FOSDEM because there are so many people, and it's a little chaotic, and not in the chaos way, but
Yep.
the other way. But it's good. It's a
But
good
yeah,
chaos.
yeah, it's a really good event.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. And then we have one other thing that is on the agenda. So I don't know who put that there, if somebody wants to talk about it.
Yeah, there's I think the CFP just closed, unfortunately, so the timing is not great. But George Washington University is doing their annual open source conference. It's their second one. It's going to be March 23rd and 24th here in Washington, D.C. at GWU. Um, it definitely had plenty of folks who were, OSPO related. It's put on by the GW OSPO. So if you are on the East Coast or will be in Washington, D.C. in, late March, this could be a good opportunity to go and meet and see some of the folks in the OSPO community and just generally open source as well. I think my favorite part last year was they had this public sauce, which was like this open source art exhibit that they put at a gallery, and they showed off a ton of open hardware and just like sensors and art that was made using machines and computers and code and most of the projects had a Git repo associated with them. There's just like a very cool multidisciplinary kind of a vibe there. And they had design students work with a class to build out the stickers for the conference. And they use generative AI with the designers as well. So there's just like this very interesting integrated approach that isn't just about um, repos and code and engineering. I thought that it was very well represented across the disciplines when I was there last year, and I'm really excited to see what kind of comes up this year. So if you like nerdy stuff that isn't just code and open source, I would definitely recommend OSCON at GWU.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the folks that organize it are big friends of CHAOSS. So like David Lippert, I think is involved. So yeah, so I'm sure sure it's gonna be a great event. Okay.
One of the speakers is going to be Frank Nagel, who was the fellow who published the Harvard Business Review article about how it would cost $8 trillion to rewrite all the open source code that we have. So I think that keynote is going to be very interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah, cool.
Remy, do you know if there's a virtual option for that conference? I'd like to see the keynote at least.
I wouldn't be surprised. I believe last year there was a virtual option, but if you ping David Lippert or try registering for the conference, maybe they might have answers. But yeah, I'm lucky I'm here in DC, so I'm going to be there in person. But we'd love for remote participation for the rest of the team in the OSPO here.
Okay, cool. Yes, indeed. The call for proposals is now open for the Open Source Summit in May in Minnesota. The CFP closes February 8th, so it closes very, very soon. We usually do a Chaos Con there. I need to check in with folks to see if we're planning on organizing that again. I assume we probably will. They're usually pretty generous giving us a room, but I don't know that we've requested it yet, so that might be something we need to get on. Um, yeah, and then as I mentioned, ChaosCon is a week from today, as a matter of fact. All right. Anything else anybody wants to chat about today?
I think an interesting topic that we won't necessarily get into today, or at least I'm going to have to drop in 10 minutes, unfortunately. So for another meeting. So I can't get into it today. But I don't know that we've ever addressed use of AI in terms of assessing any of the things that we're concerned about And there's a lot of focus on AI, and I've noticed that some of the scanning tools have started promoting use of AI within their scanning tools. And I don't know if I'm excited, nervous, or terrified by that.
Yeah, there is there is actually a group within CHAOSS that just started, and I was just gonna see if I could find it. It's like AI alignment or something. Oh, sorry.
I'll have to look at the
I'm
Slack channel.
failing to internet right now. There we go. Uh, AI. Yeah, there's a working group for AI alignment that Emma Irwin has been helping to spearhead, along with I think Sean Goggins has been involved as well. So they're kind of, let me see if there's a quick description here. No. But yeah, but they are looking at kind of the alignment around AI and chaos metrics and related topics. So that might be a meeting that you might want to drop in on. And there is of course a Slack channel for it, WG-AI-alignment, which I can put in the notes.
There are a lot of moving parts with AI. Just OSI was trying to come up with AI definition. Then I recently read the Model Openness Framework from the Linux Foundation, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, it's a good read if you haven't read it. And I say that, I mean, it's a somewhat dry paper, but I kind of found it fascinating. So definitely recommend that to anyone who hasn't taken a look. It's complex, but that's focused more on AI for the sake of AI itself and transparency in AI. I haven't really thought much about AI as applied to a use case for solving the problems that we solve in OSPOs.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. It's one I will admit I don't know much about. I'm one of those people who's just so tired of hearing about AI that I'm un unlikely to participate in a conversation about AI. It's just not my, I'm just so tired of it. I'm just so over it. And that's just my own being old and jaded, I guess. There's nothing
I,
wrong with it. Like I'm happy to, other people talk about it.
well, it's
But
the buzzword of the day for sure, or it's been the buzzword of the last 2 years. So yes, I can definitely understand the fatigue. I feel like if I don't figure it out though, then someone's going to just shove it on me. So
yeah, yeah,
I have to figure out how I want to own this myself.
yeah. Um, so we could add it as a future agenda item. Is that something that you would want to lead the discussion? Would we need to find someone else to lead it?
Oh, I definitely don't want to lead that. I don't
Okay.
think I'm educated enough in this space to be a speaker. Maybe pull in, was it Sean or Emma?
Probably Emma, because Emma's got the OSPO context, since she worked in Microsoft's OSPO for years.
That would be cool to get her perspective and maybe cross-pollinate the groups a little bit.
Yeah, okay. That would be useful. So I will talk to Emma about that. We also have a couple of other future agenda items. So there's a group within the to-do group that's called it's a working group, OSPO, no, sorry, OSS and business. So they're looking at metrics that are focused more on business. So kind of commercial open source, that sort of thing. And they've proposed a couple of agenda topics kind of in that vein. They are having their first meeting of the year on Friday. So I contacted them and asked them if they wanted to come speak in this meeting. They were like, no, not yet. So we'll likely get them coming in for a topic or two in the next month or so. Anything else we want to add to the future agenda items list? Other topics people want to talk about? Remy.
We over in the CMS OSPO, it's a little too early to say, but we saw the practitioner's guide around archiving repositories and have been kind of going a little bit very excited. We've been very excited about it. We've been building some things and experimenting with some things. So there may be a presentation in the future about archival succession planning and sunsetting, which is we're hoping to demo some of the tools and then contribute back to the CHAOSS practitioner guide when we've got some more to share. If you're an enterprising individual and you want to see the release early, release often sausage making process, the name of the repository is called Repo Sunsetter. But sorry, Nat, I know we're blowing up the spot a little bit early, but future topic, future topic.
Yeah, and I would love to have you contribute some stuff back to the sunsetting guide because most of that is based on what Stepka and I, mostly Stepka, did at VMware. So it'd be great to have that additional perspective of what's worked in other organizations, especially an organization as different from VMware as CMS. So it's nice to have that breadth. So I'll just make a note of that. Awesome. Yeah, that'll be great. Cool. All right. Anything else? We already covered the reminders. Anything else anyone wants to talk about? Cool. All right. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to be at an event in Ireland for this next meeting, which is on the 5th of February. So we could do two things. We could cancel the 5th of February. Or if somebody wanted to volunteer to facilitate, I can make sure that we have someone to click the record button if somebody wants to facilitate and drive the agenda for that meeting. If we have any volunteers, because I would love to have a volunteer to do it so that we don't have to just cancel it.
I'm happy to volunteer if there's an agenda.
Okay, so that means, all right. Do you
Let
have
me
any?
double check. Actually, let me double check and make sure I'm not already blocked that day. So that's a real concern.
Yeah, it's the 5th.
You said it was the 5th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can do that. I have another meeting right before that goes right up to it, but I should be able to duck out of that.
Okay. So I'm just gonna put this at the top of the agenda. Yeah. Facilitate February 5th.
If Riyadh doesn't make it, I can take it.
Okay, cool.
I love having a backup.
Okay, so we've got a facilitator and a backup facilitator. I'll find someone to record. And I'll see if Emma is interested in coming and talking about AI, because that would be a really interesting topic.
And then you get to avoid it then.
And I get to avoid it. See, you saw where I was going with that one.
I'm curious. I really am curious though, because I think there's a play for CHAOSS here. I mean, a lot of the focus has been on AI just as using it and the accuracy and open models versus closed models. I've seen a lot on that. And then there's been some focus on AI bombs and what do you have to report to provide transparency. But what I have not seen that I think intersects with CHAOSS really well is how do you determine the health of the model? Is it a biased model? Is it a model that provides grossly inaccurate data? Is it a model that it was only trained on X number of parameters and therefore tends to hallucinate a lot? I think those are really interesting questions and ones that I haven't seen any scholarship around yet.
Yeah.
Although maybe there is, and I'm just not looking in the right places.
Yeah, I don't know. They're good questions for sure, and stuff that we need to think about.
All right, sorry, but I have to run. So see y'all in 2 weeks, except Dawn.
Except me. All right. Well, I think we've wrapped everything up. So thank you everybody for
Thank you
coming.
for today.
I'll see a few of you at FOSDEM, and the rest of you I'll catch at a meeting at some future time.
See you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.